Good day, and welcome to the Lilly Roddy Show, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas. Always glad to have you with me this day. There's a lot of planetary activity this week, with Saturn going direct on Sunday, and Uranus going retrograde on Monday, and Mars finally moving out of the sign of Libra and entering Scorpio. The Sun changes signs on the 22nd, and we have a new moon in Leo on this Saturday. Thursday will be our most active planetary day, and it may also be one of our most difficult days. And always reporting on the rain here in Houston. Lots of rain this last couple of weeks, and of course we're happy to have it. I did forecast that we would be much rainier in July in my Houston 2014 lecture. Those are still available if you're interested. Email me or let me know. And if you wish to contact me, you can always find me here at thelillyroddyshow.com or email me at lillyroddyshow@aol.com or find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And if you can remember, please use the Lilly Roddy Show. You can always find me, Lilly Roddy, on other sites, but they're not always my astrology sites. Well, let's look at the weekly forecast. Sunday, July 20th, the moon continues in physically conscious Taurus. Our early morning aspect, the moon trines Pluto at 1:31 a.m. Awake or asleep, we're exploring the darker sides of ourself with less fear at this time. Much later in the morning, the moon opposes Saturn at 10:21 a.m. This can be a great aspect for getting organized, focusing on the task at hand, or planning for things that increase your emotional and financial security. Internally, this can make us feel overwhelmed with the things to do on our to-do list. Set your priorities and be realistic. Saturn finally goes stationary direct at 3:36 p.m. at 16 Scorpio. With Saturn finally going direct, we should all get off of this sluggish time frame that we've been stuck in. Over the next couple of weeks, expect to be more decisive than you have been in a while. Monday, July 21st, the moon continues in fiscally conservative Taurus. The moon sextiles the sun at 9:13 a.m. These are great energies to be doing almost anything that you would like to do. This can be good for meeting with clients or enjoying coffee with your friends. We're active today, but with practicality being our main goal. After 9:13, the moon is void of course until 11:36 a.m. when the moon enters versatile Gemini. This is just a short void of course moon. Next week we have some long ones. Later in the afternoon, the moon sextiles Jupiter at 1:52 p.m. We continue to remain open and optimistic through this evening. This is an especially good time to be making decisions about remodeling or redecorating your home. And finally, in the evening, Uranus goes stationary retrograde at 9:53 p.m. at 16 Aries. Uranus in our natal chart is usually connected to strong independence, social and humanitarian movements, and freeing us from our own self-imposed repression. Currently, Saturn and Uranus are quincunxing each other in the sky. This is causing a general slowdown in addressing the rights of oppressed people and is asking people to reposition themselves and realign their own priorities. On a personal level, this can make us feel all very tired and exasperated at the limited results of our work. This should change as we move along, and it should get a little easier as we get toward the end of the week. Tuesday, July 22nd. The moon continues in dualistic Gemini. Early in the morning, the moon squares Neptune at 1:19 a.m. These energies want us to have more time to ourselves. Such a great aspect for sleeping. Enjoy. Just a little bit later in the morning, Mercury opposes Pluto at 1:47 a.m. With this aspect being in play for the last couple of days, our detective skills are very active. We would not be very inclined just to take someone's word for it simply because they said it, with this aspect occurring. This can be a great time for clearing out old ideas or beliefs out of your brain. Discussions with others seems to turn more intense without warning. Words have great power with this aspect, and this aspect continues to be in effect throughout the rest of the day. In the afternoon, the Sun enters Leo, the sign of the developing individual, at 4:41 p.m. With our star, the Sun, entering the sign of Leo, we're all more focused on ourselves and on ways to improve and make our own lives better. Some people will need a lot of extra love, confirmation, and affection, but we have lots to give with the Sun in Leo. And finally, in the evening on Tuesday, the moon sextiles Uranus at 7:29 p.m. A good evening for business or for being out with friends. We're a little restless, so doing the same old routine won't work very well this evening. On Wednesday, July 23rd, the moon continues in Gemini, the sign of the magician. We just have a couple of aspects in the latter, or just one aspect in the latter part of the day. The moon trines Mars at 7:53 p.m. This is our only aspect of the day and will help to keep us motivated. We will all do better if the task we're working on improves our own conditions. After 7:53, the moon does go void, of course, but quickly enters the sign of Cancer at 9:59 p.m. that same evening and moves out of the void, of course. With the moon in Cancer, it's a good evening to be at home. Thursday, July 24th. The moon continues in possessive Cancer all day today. This is a day with a lot of different aspects in the sky. Our energy levels will fluctuate a great deal from the morning to the afternoon, and especially in the evening. Remember to keep flexible. So here we go. Venus trines Neptune at 6:10 a.m. This aspect makes us more compassionate and concerned about those in the world around us. We get the fact that our own sense of safety and comfort is connected to how safe and comfortable other people feel. Since this aspect has been in effect since yesterday, this can be an excellent time for any types of negotiations. But we may all feel much better if we took some time to enjoy a lovely cup of hot tea with those that matter most. This aspect is in effect for the entire day. Our first lunar aspect, the moon trines Neptune at 12:03 p.m. A good afternoon for a leisurely lunch, connecting with nature, and letting the troubles of the day drift away. At 12:43 p.m., the moon conjuncts Venus. Be prepared to indulge your physical senses with this aspect. Personally, I like chocolate eclairs. How about you? It's a good time for relationships, finding common ground, or paying attention to your legacy. A little bit later in the afternoon, the Sun conjuncts Jupiter at 3:44 p.m. With this aspect, go big or go home today. Our ideas flow effortlessly. This aspect helps us to see the world in a much bigger picture. Belief systems are especially highlighted with this conjunction to Jupiter. We're all seeking to find our own truth. On a personal level, this can make you feel highly energetic and maybe even a bit ditzy. It's a great day for big picture planning and expanding the projects you're already working on, or signing up for classes at the university. This aspect is in effect all day. Finally, in the evening, Mercury squares Uranus at 7:07 p.m. Since this aspect has also been in play for the last couple of days, this adds to the nervousness or the lack of desire to be decisive. With this planetary combination, we'll want to keep all of our options open at the same time. This combination also allows us to think outside of the box and discover totally new ways of approaching and solving problems. It may also amp up our nervous system and make it difficult to sleep or to feel very rested. With it so strong this evening, we'll want to do something that's different and mentally stimulating. Otherwise, we may just be feeling very bored. Mercury trines Saturn at 9:11 p.m. Now we're just going in a totally different direction here. Another strong planetary aspect culminating on this very same day. With this aspect, we are much more inclined to try to make sense of things and create a clear sense of priorities. This aspect will seem to operate very differently than the one just prior, and this would represent the part of the confusion of trying to keep all of your options open and trying to establish future priorities that direct your life in a positive and a safe way. Good luck with combining these two ideas. And finally, the last aspect for the evening, the moon opposes Pluto at 9:23 p.m. Finally, adding a cherry on top to the events of the day, we dig deep to understand what our true motivation is. This can be a very good time for self-reflection, especially if you have someone there you can trust, who can mirror back to you a truthful alternative version to what you actually think is going on. Otherwise, we are still focused on our long-term emotional and financial future security. Friday, the moon continues in emotionally guarded Cancer. We start the day with the moon squaring Uranus at 6:49 a.m., a great time to be up early and getting on with our day. We're not as patient this morning, so take your time with others. The moon trines Saturn at 7:08 a.m. We start to feel more organized and are really ready to take on the task of the day. This could be a very good morning to spend some time with your partner and plan ahead for the future. We are more interested in a solution rather than blaming someone. This aspect can help us to feel more secure emotionally. The moon conjuncts Mercury at 8:53 a.m. We're much more chatty this morning with this aspect. A great time for scheduling, planning, or just doing gossip. With work, this can be a great time for contacting new clients or presenting new ideas to improve the efficiency in your office. Now, the moon is now void of course in Cancer at 8:53 a.m. until Saturday morning the next day at 9:55 a.m. when the moon enters fiery Leo. The energy of the morning should carry us through the early afternoon, but after that time, our energy and focus will begin to wane. Relax and go with the flow. And in the evening, Mars enters Scorpio, the sign of depth, intensity, paranoia, and obsession for approximately the next 50 days. Sounds like a fun time, doesn't it? Mars finally leaves the sign of Libra, which it's been in since December 7th, 2013. Mars in Scorpio will act in defense of our emotional state. Calm and silent, Mars in Scorpio is the shark in the ocean. He's confident in his powers and doesn't mind waiting for just the right moment. Saturday, July 26. The moon starts the day void of course in family-oriented Cancer. Our day may start slowly this morning with the moon void of course. The moon finally enters fiery Leo at 9:55 a.m. Energetically, we are reconnected, and you should feel a burst in your own energy. Our first aspect for the morning, the moon squares Mars at 10:29 a.m. Our emotions are strong mid-morning. Try to take some time and don't rush things. Our emotions are right on our sleeve. This will make it easier to feel offended or defensive. Choose your battles carefully. In the early afternoon, the moon conjuncts Jupiter at 2:24 p.m. The afternoon is a much better time frame. We're feeling open and free and want to get out and experience the world. In business, it's a great time for meeting with new people or resolving problems in a very friendly environment. On a personal level, we're just more open emotionally and ready to share with our heart. The moon conjuncts the sun at 5:42 p.m. This is the new moon in Leo. This is the beginning of our monthly cycle with the moon in Leo. We are supposed to pay more attention to our own personal needs and expressing ourselves more creatively. We will want more recognition and acknowledgement from others during this time. Let your inner child out to play. Well, really, that's all we have for this week. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Lilly Roddy Show. And, of course, look for us next week on this same channel. If you haven't subscribed, please take some time to do so. This is the Lilly Roddy Show coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas. Join us next week, and remember to keep those stars in your eyes. Bye-bye.